Okay, this is a real quick one, and it's one of those ones that's going to help us towards writing our own story. Just a little technique that makes things a little bit more exciting. I use questions to build up suspense, and this is our little symbol. It's the 3 question marks because we're going to do the 3 question technique to build up suspense. What is suspense? Tell your partner, pause. Suspense is that kind of feeling of not really knowing what's going to happen. It's that build up and anticipation of what is to come next, okay? It's really important in a story that we have some suspense. You want the reader to be wondering what's going on, questioning how people are feeling, wanting to know what goes next, okay? It's that kind of, that is that feeling of suspense. You can go, suspense. That's what you need to say to your partner. That's a good way to remember it. So go, suspense, okay? First of all, what is a question? Well, there is a question on the board. Can you explain what a question is to your partner? Pause. A question is a sentence where we are trying to find the answer to something. It must obviously, as a sentence, start with a capital letter, and it must end with this thing here, which is a question mark. Okay? A question mark. A question mark is needed for all questions, whether we've got it in our speech, whether it's in a non-fiction, whether it's in a fiction. Whenever a question is asked, it must have a question mark. If you want to go back to one of the dialogue videos, you'll spot that sometimes Mrs. Jordan was asking me questions, okay, and they all had question marks to go with them. So what is a question? There is a question. Right, so how do I use questions to build up suspense in a story? Okay, so here we've got a door, and coming from it, I can hear a knock. The girl heard a knock at the door. At the door. She went to open it. Done. Good? Not really good, is it? The girl heard a knock at the door. She went to open it. Let's see how I can use this 3 question technique. I'm going to keep it just the same. So we've still got she went to open it. Here it is. She went to open it. Down at the bottom. But I'm going to splice in. She went to open it. I'm going to splice in some questions to really build up the suspense, to build up the tension in the story and make it a little bit more exciting. The girl heard a knock at the door. Who could that be? Who could that be? Who could it be? Okay, the question makes the reader think a little bit. Who could it be? What other question might I ask about a knock at the door? Why are they knocking this early? Why are they knocking this early? This early or this late or at this time? Why are they knocking at this time? Could they be looking for me? Could they be looking for me? Ooh, suddenly the story has a whole different edge to it. It's not just a knock at the door and going and opening it. The girl heard a knock at the door. Who could that be? Why are they knocking at this time, this early? Could they be looking for me? She went to open it. I suddenly feel a little bit scared about her opening it. Earlier, she heard a knock, she opened the door. Now, with all these questions ringing around my head, I'm really wondering what's going on. Can you see how this really simple 3-question technique adds a load more suspense to my story? It really enhances it. So what I'd like you to do, your little task, if you want to see the example of how I did it, you can just rewind and pause the video. There's going to be a sound. You hear something. Then we've got our 3 questions. And then we've got what you did about it. Okay? I heard a creak in the floor. Could that be mice? Do you think it's a monster? Should I leave the house right now? I went to investigate. Okay, simple thing. Not just I heard a creak in the floor, I went to investigate. Those 3 questions in the middle are really going to build up the suspense. They're going to really build up the tension and make it way more exciting. There's loads of different words I could use for questions. Who, what, where, why, when, is, could, should, would, may I, can I? Okay, lots of different choices for you there. You hear something, you ask 3 questions about it, you do something in response. You might see something as well. You might smell something. I don't really mind if it's a sound, a smell, a sight. It's up to you. I'd like to try a few of those, please. Get them written down, email them over to me, off you go.